For this final section of the segment of the course on executive politics, we've talked about the presidency, we've talked about the federal bureaucracy. Now we'll talk about, briefly, Nevada's executive branch. And in doing so, we will be making comparisons and contrasts with the federal executive branch. The first contrast I would draw between the Nevada executive and the federal bureaucracy or executive branch would be this. Nevada's executive, like I believe all 50 states, is a plural executive, right? At the federal level, we only elect the president. Everybody else is nominated by the president with the advice and consent of the Senate. That is not the case in Nevada. In Nevada, we do elect the governor, of course, Governor Sandoval, but we also elect the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Lieutenant Governor, and so forth. All right, so we have 6 statewide executive offices. So the governor of those 6, obviously the governor is the most powerful, but the governor is forced to share that power with 5 other statewide executive officers. And the most significant, in my opinion, would be the Secretary of State and the Attorney General. Maybe third on that list would be the Secretary of the Treasury. The Lieutenant Governor is something more akin, I suppose in some ways, to the Vice President. And in fact, that's why the Lieutenant Governor's race this last election cycle was so intense. Many thought that Sandoval would leave office after 2 years, and if he had, and it now doesn't look like he will, but if he had, and if he does, he would be replaced by the Lieutenant Governor. And the idea, right, is that you want to fragment that executive authority at the state level, divide it up among 6 statewide officers. So, the governor might want the Attorney General to defend a certain law or to prosecute a certain law more vigorously. The Attorney General might agree to that, or the Attorney General might not. And if the governor got angry about that, right, the Attorney General could say, like a little kid, "You're not the boss of me." And it's true, right? Who's the boss of the Secretary of State or the Attorney General? It's we, the people of Nevada. That's not true, right, at the federal level. There, if the president wants the Attorney General to do something, and if the Attorney General fails to do so, technically at least the president could fire that person. No such situation here in Nevada. All right, so from here, I have a grab bag of a few other issues I'd like to talk about vis-a-vis the Nevada executive branch. One would be term limits, like at the federal level, the Nevada governor and other executive branch officials here that are elected, they do have a term limit of 2 4-year terms, just like the president. So that's very similar. The impeachment of an executive branch official, the governor on down, requires a 2/3 vote in both houses of the Nevada legislature. That's a little tougher standard than at the federal level, right? The federal level, it's a majority of the House to impeach and 2/3 of the Senate to convict. Here it's 2/3 in both houses, so a little tougher to impeach here than at the federal level. The governor has no line item veto over the state budget, same as for the president. Unusual for a governor, but that's the case in Nevada. The governor has the unilateral authority to name top state officials, like the Gaming Control Board, the Gaming Control Commission, the 2 most important ones, arguably. The governor names all of these people unilaterally at his or her discretion. That's different than at the federal level, right? Because at the federal level, the president can only name such officials with the advice and consent of the Senate. That's not required in the state of Nevada. The governor does not have the sole power to issue pardons. The president does, the governor does not. The governor is part of a 9-member commission that deliberates over these pardon issues and then can vote to support them or not. A majority vote wins, except when the governor votes against a pardon. If the governor votes against the pardon cannot happen. So the governor can veto a pardon, but can only secure a pardon if he or she has at least 4 other votes on their side. And then finally, I would just make this very broad observation. Some governors are more powerful, like a Governor Sandoval that we have right now. Some are clearly less so, like the hapless Governor Jim Gibbons of a few years back. And that depends, right, largely on the skill set and the context of individual governors. Some have a great skill set and the conditions are right for a strong governor, like right now. Other governors, like Jim Gibbons, who had a very poor skill set, he was a very, very weak governor. So that varies dramatically from one individual to the next. All right, that should do it.